Gentlemen, let's be real for a second. As we age, our bodies change. Things that used to work effortlessly in our 20s and 30s don't always perform the same way in our 40s, 50s, and beyond. One of the most important areas where men notice this change is in their sexual performance, specifically their erections. And let me tell you this, struggling with weaker erections is not just a part of aging. It's a signal from your body that something deeper is happening, something you can improve if you take action. Today, I want to share with you the 5 most powerful stretches that can help you achieve harder, stronger erections naturally, even after the age of 50. These aren't complicated gym workouts. They're simple, targeted stretches that open blood vessels, loosen tight muscles, and restore proper function to the pelvic region, the exact area that controls erection quality. Now, before we dive into the specific stretches, let's get one thing clear. Erections depend on blood flow. If blood isn't flowing freely into the penis, erections will be weak, short-lasting, or not happen at all. And what blocks blood flow? Tight hip flexors, weak pelvic floor muscles, poor posture from years of sitting, and reduced mobility in the lower back and groin area. That's why stretching is so critical. Think of it this way. If a garden hose is bent or pinched, water won't flow properly. The same is true with the arteries and veins in your pelvic region. If the muscles around them are stiff, compressed, or weak, blood flow is restricted. But when you stretch and release those tight areas, you allow blood to surge in, giving you stronger, harder erections. So let's start with stretch number 1, the hip flexor release. Most men over 50 spend years sitting at desks, driving cars, or lounging in chairs. Sitting shortens the hip flexors, those deep muscles at the front of your hips that connect your thighs to your pelvis. When these hip flexors are tight, they tilt your pelvis forward, squeeze your lower back, and restrict circulation into the groin. That means less blood flow where you need it most. Here's how to do the hip flexor release. Begin in a half-kneeling position with your right knee on the ground and your left foot in front, forming a 90-degree angle. Keep your torso upright and gently push your hips forward until you feel a stretch along the front of your right hip and thigh. Hold this stretch for 30 seconds, breathing deeply, then switch sides. Repeat 3 times per leg. As you do this stretch daily, you'll notice not only that your hips feel looser, but also that standing tall becomes easier. More importantly, by releasing those tight hip flexors, you create more space for blood vessels to deliver blood to your pelvic region, directly improving erection strength. Now let's move on to stretch number 2, pelvic floor activation. The pelvic floor muscles are a group of small but powerful muscles at the base of your pelvis. They act like a hammock supporting your bladder, bowels, and yes, your erections. When these muscles are weak, blood flow struggles to stay trapped in the penis, causing erections to fade quickly. But when you strengthen and stretch this area, you gain much more control over your erections. To activate the pelvic floor, I want you to do a simple move called the bridge with squeeze. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Place a pillow or yoga block between your knees. Now, squeeze your knees together while lifting your hips toward the ceiling. As you hold this position, contract your pelvic floor muscles, the same muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine. Hold for 5 seconds, lower slowly, and repeat 10 to 12 times. This movement doesn't just stretch the lower back and hips. It also engages the exact muscles responsible for trapping blood inside the penis during erections. The more control you develop here, the longer and harder your erections will be. At this point, you may already notice a pattern. Every stretch we're doing is targeting the key areas that directly influence blood flow and pelvic health. But we're just getting started. Next is stretch number 3, lower back mobility. Why is the lower back so important for sexual performance? Because the nerves that control erections travel through the spine, particularly the lower lumbar and sacral regions. If your lower back is stiff, compressed, or misaligned, those nerves can't fire properly, leading to weaker signals and weaker erections. One of the best stretches for this is the cat-cow stretch, a gentle yoga movement that improves flexibility in the spine. Start on your hands and knees, with your wrists directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. As you inhale, Arch your back, lifting your tailbone and chest toward the ceiling. As you exhale, round your spine, tucking your chin to your chest, and pulling your belly button in. Flow between these two positions for 60 seconds, breathing deeply. This stretch does wonders for the spine, but it also relaxes the nervous system, which plays a huge role in sexual performance. When your nervous system is calm and your lower back is flexible, erections happen more easily and feel stronger. Now let's talk about stretch number 4, the inner thigh opener. The inner thighs, or adductors, are often overlooked, but they are essential for sexual health. These muscles connect directly to the pelvis, and when they're tight, they limit blood flow and reduce mobility during sex. Many men don't realize that years of tight inner thighs can actually block circulation into the groin, making erections harder to achieve. Here's how to do it. Sit on the floor with the soles of your feet pressed together and your knees bent outward. Hold your feet with your hands and gently press your knees toward the floor. Keep your back straight and hold for 30 to 60 seconds. Repeat 3 times. This simple stretch opens the hips, increases flexibility, and allows more blood to circulate freely into the pelvic region. Not only does this improve erection quality, but it also boosts stamina and comfort during intercourse. Finally, we arrive at stretch number 5, full body circulation stretch. Remember, erections aren't just about one part of the body. They rely on the entire cardiovascular system. That's why a full body stretch is essential. My favorite for men over 50 is the standing forward fold. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Slowly bend forward from the hips, letting your arms and head hang down toward the floor. If you can, grab your ankles or touch the ground. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deeply. This stretch improves circulation throughout the entire body, decompresses the spine, and sends fresh blood rushing down into the pelvis. When combined with the other 4 stretches, it creates a powerful daily routine that optimizes erection quality naturally. Gentlemen, by now you can see how each of these stretches targets a specific weak point that develops as we age. Tight hips, weak pelvic floor, stiff lower back, inflexible thighs, and restricted circulation. By addressing all of them, you unlock your body's natural ability to achieve harder, stronger erections, without pills, without gimmicks, just through smart movement and consistent practice. And here's the best part. These stretches don't just improve your erections. They also reduce back pain, improve posture, increase energy, and make you feel more confident overall. Because when your body is open, flexible, and strong, every part of your life benefits. So here's my challenge to you. Commit to doing these 5 stretches every single day for the next 30 days. Don't skip, don't quit. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can completely transform your sexual health. Now that we've covered the 5 core stretches that directly improve erection quality, let's go a little deeper. Because here's the truth. Doing stretches once in a while is not enough. If you want lasting results, if you want to wake up every morning with stronger, more reliable erections, you need to understand how these stretches actually work inside your body and how to combine them with the right habits. First, let's talk about circulation. Erections are nothing more than blood filling the erectile chambers of the penis. If blood flow is restricted, erections are weak. If blood flow is strong, erections are powerful. But circulation doesn't improve by itself. It requires movement, stretching, and flexibility in the areas where blood flow tends to get blocked. Think about your daily routine. Most men over 50 spend hours sitting at a desk, in the car, or on the couch. This position compresses blood vessels in the hips and groin, weakens the pelvic floor, and stiffens the lower back. Over time, this creates a cycle where blood flow decreases, nerves don't fire properly, and erections become weaker. But when you stretch, you reverse this cycle. You restore blood flow, reactivate nerve signals, and literally retrain your body to function the way it was designed. For example, when you perform the hip flexor release, you're not just stretching a muscle. You're releasing pressure on the iliac arteries that supply blood directly into the pelvic region. When you activate the pelvic floor, you're training the same muscles that keep blood trapped inside the penis during an erection. When you open your inner thighs, you're freeing up major blood vessels like the femoral artery, which feeds into the groin. Every stretch has a direct, biological effect on your erections. Now here's something most men don't realize. Your nervous system is just as important as your blood vessels. Erections are controlled by signals from your brain and spinal cord. If your nervous system is overstressed, or if your lower back is stiff and pinching those nerve pathways, erections will suffer. That's why the cat-cow stretch is so powerful. It decompresses the spinal column, relieves pressure on the nerves, and improves communication between your brain and your penis. But stretching is only one part of the equation. The second key is consistency. Think about it. If you spent 20, 30, or 40 years sitting too much, building poor posture, and ignoring flexibility, your body has adapted to that stiffness. You can't undo it overnight. But if you commit to these stretches daily, even just 10 to 15 minutes a day, your body will slowly adapt in the other direction. Blood flow improves. Posture improves. Erections improve. Let me give you an example. I had a 56-year-old patient who complained of weaker erections, low confidence, and pain in his lower back. He had tried medications, but they gave him side effects and didn't solve the root problem. I introduced him to this exact stretch routine: hip flexor release, pelvic floor activation, spinal mobility, inner thigh opening, and forward folds. At first, he was skeptical, but after 3 weeks, he reported stronger morning erections. After 6 weeks, his confidence in the bedroom was back. And after 3 months, he said he felt 10 years younger. All from a few simple stretches. This is why I emphasize, these aren't just exercises. They're a form of therapy for your sexual health. Another important point is breathing. Most men rush through stretches without focusing on breath. But deep, slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and relax system that directly supports erections. Shallow, fast breathing keeps you in fight or flight mode, which shuts down sexual performance. So while you stretch, inhale deeply through your nose, fill your belly, and exhale slowly through your mouth. This not only improves relaxation, but also increases oxygen delivery to your tissues, making the stretches more effective. Now, let's connect stretching to the bigger picture, your overall health. Erectile dysfunction is often one of the first warning signs of cardiovascular disease. If blood flow is weak in the penis, it's often weak in other areas too, like the heart and brain. That's why men with erectile dysfunction are at higher risk for heart attacks and strokes. So when you do these stretches, you're not just improving your sex life, you're protecting your heart, your brain, and your longevity. But here's something encouraging. The penis is extremely sensitive to improvements in circulation. That means when you do the right things, stretching, moving, eating better, you'll often notice improvements in erections faster than improvements in other areas of your health. In other words, stronger erections are an early reward for taking care of your body. Let's also talk about confidence. Many men don't realize how much their sexual performance affects their self-esteem. When erections are weak, men often feel less masculine, less energetic, and less motivated in other areas of life. But when erections improve, confidence skyrockets. Suddenly, you feel more capable, more attractive, and more driven. And that confidence carries into your work, your relationships, and your overall happiness. This is why I call these stretches life-changing. They don't just help you perform better in the bedroom. They help you feel like yourself again. Now, I want to give you a practical routine you can follow. Here's how I recommend structuring your day. Morning, do all 5 stretches back-to-back, 10 to 15 minutes total. This jumpstarts blood flow, wakes up your nervous system, and sets you up for the day. Midday, take a quick 2-minute stretch break, especially the hip flexor release if you've been sitting. Evening, before bed, repeat 1 or 2 stretches to relax your body and improve circulation overnight. That's it. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. Just a few minutes a day consistently. One more thing I want to emphasize. Stretching is powerful, but it works best when combined with hydration, nutrition, and sleep. Dehydration thickens the blood, making it harder to flow into the penis. Poor nutrition clogs arteries with plaque, Lack of sleep reduces testosterone and weakens erections. So if you combine daily stretching with proper hydration, balanced meals, and 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, your results will multiply. Gentlemen, you're not powerless against aging. You're not doomed to weaker erections. Your body is designed to perform, but it needs your help. These 5 stretches are a simple, natural way to unlock that performance again. And when you commit to them, you'll be amazed at how quickly your body responds. So keep going. Don't just listen, apply this knowledge. Start today and watch how your body transforms. We've now explored the mechanics, the science, and the daily habits behind stretching for stronger erections. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some final insights that will help you not only maintain your results, but continue improving them year after year. First, let's address a reality most men face: aging. After 50, your body naturally loses flexibility, blood vessels stiffen, testosterone levels decline, and recovery slows down. But here's the critical truth. Aging is not a disease. It's simply a process. And while you can't stop it, you can absolutely control how it affects you. Men who stay active, stretch daily, hydrate properly, and take care of their sleep often perform like men 10 to 20 years younger. Meanwhile, men who neglect these basics age rapidly and suffer unnecessarily. Which path will you choose? Now, let's talk about progression. The stretches we discussed are a starting point. Over time, you should increase the intensity. For example, hold each stretch for longer, progressing from 20 seconds to 45 to 60 seconds. Add gentle resistance, like pushing your hips slightly deeper into the hip flexor stretch or squeezing your pelvic floor harder during activation. Explore yoga poses such as pigeon pose or bridge pose, which expand on the same principles. Progression ensures your body keeps adapting and your erections keep improving. Another key factor is integration. Don't think of stretching as something separate from your life. Think of it as part of who you are. Stretch while watching TV, stretch before bed, stretch first thing in the morning. Make it so natural that it becomes a daily ritual like brushing your teeth. Remember, consistency beats intensity. I also want to highlight the connection between mental health and sexual health. Many men underestimate how much stress, anxiety, and guilt can block sexual performance. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, which lowers testosterone and restricts blood flow. Anxiety creates performance pressure, which can literally shut down the erection reflex. And guilt, often related to aging, past mistakes, or pornography, creates a cycle of shame that prevents full arousal. The good news? Stretching and deep breathing don't just improve your body, they calm your mind. As you stretch, focus on slow breathing, clearing your thoughts, and being present in the moment. Over time, this mindfulness reduces stress hormones, improves confidence, and creates a stronger mind-body connection. Let me share another real example. A 61-year-old patient came to me with both erectile dysfunction and high stress from his demanding job. He felt trapped in a cycle. Poor performance led to anxiety, and anxiety made his performance even worse. I introduced him to these stretches, but I also emphasized breathing and mindfulness during each session. Within 2 months, he not only reported stronger erections, but also said his stress at work felt more manageable. His wife noticed he was calmer, happier, and more affectionate. That's the hidden power of this routine. It heals both body and mind. Now, before we close, let's put everything together into a step-by-step plan you can follow immediately. Morning, 10 to 15 minutes perform all 5 stretches in sequence. Focus on breathing and posture. Midday, 2 minutes do a quick hip flexor or pelvic floor stretch, especially if sitting for long periods. Evening, 5 minutes, choose 1 or 2 stretches to relax your body and prepare for restful sleep. Hydrate consistently. Drink water steadily throughout the day. Don't overload at once. Aim for clear, light-colored urine. Eat for circulation. Prioritize fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Avoid excessive alcohol, sugar, and processed foods. Prioritize sleep. Get 7 to 8 hours nightly. Poor sleep kills testosterone and weakens erections. Manage stress. Use breathing, stretching, and mindfulness to stay calm and confident. If you stick to this routine for just 30 days, you will notice changes. Morning erections will become more reliable. Sexual performance will improve. Confidence will rise. And most importantly, you'll feel younger and more alive. Here's the final message I want you to remember. Your sexual health is in your control. You don't need to rely on pills or quick fixes. Your body already has the ability to produce strong, lasting erections. You simply need to unlock it. Stretching, hydration, sleep, and mindful living are the keys. So don't wait. Don't say maybe tomorrow. Start today. Do your first stretch right now. Take your first deep breath. Drink a glass of water. Every small step adds up, and over time, those steps transform into a stronger, healthier, more confident version of yourself. Gentlemen, erections are not just about sex. They are about health, vitality, and life itself. When you take care of your body takes care of you. So stretch daily, live consciously, and claim the energy and performance you deserve. Because remember, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years.